Good evening and welcome everybody to another edition of the Music and Mixing Show. I'm your host DJ Michael Joseph, and on this show we talk about music and mixing, but tonight specifically we're talking about virtual DJ. Gonna do a shout out, see who's here, where you're watching from tonight. DJ Spine, I guess that's how that's said. Welcome. Amakar. I'm horrible with names, I apologize. Hello, Lewis, hello. John Colley, what's going on? Grabs his popcorn, saves some for the rest of us. He's tuning in from down under at the 305. That's cool. Should be a kind of good show tonight. I have the deck set up too. Right there's the camera, as you can see. So I have an overhead shot of a smaller set of decks. I don't have the full set. Like I used to. It's something new that I purchased. We'll talk about that later tonight, but we just want to make sure everybody who's tuning in knows that spend the first couple of minutes just saying hello to everybody, and then we get into the questions for tonight. Ken from Florida, what's going on? Welcome. DJ Spin. Oh, it is said Spin. I apologize. I'm horrible. Don Carlos, what's going on? How are you? Welcome, everybody. As you see, I have my virtual shirt on, brought to me by Peter the Hubcap Dude. Boom! I'm going to be posting a picture about this later because I love this thing. Simon, what's going on? From Florida. I was thinking the 305. That threw me off a little bit. And you said down under, and then the 305. There's a little because we have people from the down under that tune in all the time. Jonathan, what's going on? I'm going to put that down as the questions, Jonathan. I want to answer that here once we get everybody tuned in real quick here. I'm going to start a quick thing of questions so I don't lose stuff. First off, everybody can hear me, right? Let's make sure we're doing good on the sound and all that kind of stuff tonight. Again, if you've never watched the show before, we take a couple minutes to welcome everybody in here. Gerald, what's going on? DJ Jess, what's going on? Welcome. I have music too, so make sure we can hear the music. You guys got that? Cool. I'm going to be showing some stuff on the decks, possibly tonight. And the new thing I got, I don't know how much you pay attention to me on social media. I got a new piece of equipment just for this kind of stuff and in stuff. I teach classes at Guitar Center online. So this is for the online stuff. We'll talk about here in a bit. We make sure everybody gets in and gets welcomed. Hope everyone's having a good time. It's all about virtual DJ tonight. It's all about, bam, virtual DJ tonight. Spin says, sounds good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is a little different setup tonight. Like I said, I'm going to talk about that in a couple of minutes of what's all going on with this and what it's all about. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time. And then we will start hitting some questions here. We already got one from, who was it from? Jonathan. That's who it was from. I have to remember that. All right, cool. Pulling on my earbuds here. All right. All right, so we are about there. So somebody asked how stems work. That will be question number 2. Boop, putting it down. All right, so for those of you who are kind of new to the show, what's going on, and we have a lot of new people tune in. I do a lot of stuff here on Disc Jockey News. This is one of my favorite shows that I get to do. I do it by myself. I talk for pretty much a whole hour here. The Music Mixing Show was designed when I originally come up with it. I wanted to do a show for the mixed DJ, someone who spends most of their night on mixing and not on talking to the crowd or being an entertainer. It's about a person who mixes, and that's kind of what this is about. And I have been a huge fan of virtual DJ for probably since 08, 07, 08, 09, somewhere around there. And I started doing episodes once a month here on the Music and Mixing Show about virtual DJ, and they become very popular. And that's what we're doing again tonight. So we're doing another virtual DJ show tonight. Simon said he wants my shirt. This came from the Virtual DJ website. They have a store where you can get stuff, and it was purchased to me and given to me by my dear friend Peter the Hubcap Dude. He got me 2 of them, and I love them. I'm so proud that I don't have just one virtual DJ shirt. I can swap them out every time we have one of these shows, and I like this one a lot. I'm going to be posting a picture of this one later, looking fly in it. DJ Mikey Mike, welcome. Jimmy Spin, welcome. Thank you for coming in tonight. Hope you're doing well. Another question there. I'm copying that one down. Just to let you know that everything is going on. I do have the decks set up tonight, but I am not running virtual on the decks. I mean, I'm running virtual because we're doing a show about virtual, but I'm not running Denon tonight because I have, boom, Pioneer DDJ SB3. I purchased it because I teach online classes for Guitar Center, and I have been wanting something smaller like this for a while to be able to teach on the deck. I had another Denon one, but it was older, and its setup was not traditional towards DJ equipment. It only had 4 pads and some different things, and it was not traditional. So when I'm teaching a class, I want something that kind of looks like what most people are DJing with. And the SB3 kind of fit because it has the 8 pads, the decks there, all the stuff, effects at the top. So it's kind of like a generalized, I don't know what you would call it there, like a, I'm going to try to center this a little bit better. Like a generalized, like something that everybody uses. And that's kind of why I wanted to go with this. Reading stuff that's going up there. Someone wants vinyl cutter shirts. There you go. There's a way to contact there. We might be talking in the future possibly. But yeah, so I started using this for that, and tonight we're gonna, if you have any mixing questions, we're gonna be doing on this. And this is all coming in here, even though like I said, we're in the middle of a gear shortage in this United States that is crazy right now. Because I work at Guitar Center, I can look at the stock of all Guitar Centers across the United States. And I decided the other day just to see if there were any DDJ-1000 SRTs anywhere in the United States in any Guitar Center or at any of the warehouses, and there are zero SRTs in stores, Guitar Center stores, or Guitar Center warehouses. Zero. So there's a big shortage on stuff right now. So if you have equipment, and it's not just with Pioneer stuff, it's with all of them. So if you have equipment, now's the time to take care of it. If you're able to buy a backup unit of something you have, even if it's used, I would advise that right now because I have a backup of my 7000 just in case. That's my main one that I use out all the time. And then this one here, obviously, I honestly believe this one here, even though it's really, really small, like I said, how can I compare this to something? Here's a quarter. So you can see how big it is compared to a quarter. It's small. But this is a very capable mixer controller that I really honestly could do a whole night of mixing on this without a problem if I had to. Only bad thing is it has RCA outs only on this, so it's not what you would typically use, but it's very capable on that. I'm trying to copy some questions here, so I have those down here. Hold on. Don't want to miss anything. I don't want to close my eyes. Sorry, I had to say that. That's what the song went through my head there. I'm trying to read here. Yes, they are available on eBay, but go ahead and tell them the prices of some of these things. The FX6 is available. I didn't look to see how many for that one. I did not check that one. I know they just put out the new white version. There's some things I like about the 6, some things I don't. Like I said right now, with the shortage and everything we're hearing from people, the fact that they moved the NAMM show, which if you know what the NAMM show is, a ginormous music equipment show out in Anaheim, California. I mean, like literally, if you wanted to see everything out there, not just the DJ stuff, they have everything, and it would take you multiple days to see it, okay? And they moved it till June because it was supposed to be, was it January, February, because they know there's just not going to be any equipment. So that's to show you where things are at right now. Just a heads up on that kind of stuff that, you know, there's a shortage on stuff. So like I said, people throwing questions out. I am trying to copy these so we can get to them here in a second. I will answer them. We will field more questions all night long. But I wanted to touch the thing on the equipment just so that you know if you're able to get a used one of something, whatever you use, I would advise it because if, like, let's say tomorrow your stuff broke, you may not be able to get stuff for weeks. You might be able to get it right away. I don't know, depending on what you use. I don't know. But it's just something to think about out there. I did look up, somebody that reminded me, the Rain 1, I did look up, there's about 600 and some Rain 1s in Guitar Centers or Guitar Center warehouses around the United States. There was a bunch of those. Those are the only 2 I checked because those are the 2 that I was kind of interested in. But for the SRT, there were none. Moving on down here. Look at some of the questions here. Okay, so I have not heard of any companies putting anything new out, so I literally have zero information about anything new whatsoever at all. I would tell you also to expect Pioneer to put out more of these signature fashion controllers that are one-offs, like the off-white version of the SRT and the all-white version of the Flex 6, whatever you want to call it, FX6, whatever. I expect them to be doing more of those because phone companies do those all the time, that they do these special ones where you can buy these specially. They're just, all they are is cosmetic changes, and they're out there. If you want to pay a lot of money, you can get them, but you know, it's going to cost you a lot more. But yeah, so if you do want an SRT, you can get them through eBay and other places, but you're going to pay a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money for them. So if you have one sitting around you don't want to use, now's the time to make the money off of it. All right, so virtual DJ questions tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate this. I have virtual set up. I have the deck set up, and we're going to hit some of the questions that have already been asked, and we'll still go to the chat and hit some questions. So the first question tonight came in is, when is Virtual DJ 9 coming out, and will it have one for 2022 next year? Okay, first off, there is no Virtual DJ 9, okay? So there is Virtual DJ 7, 8, 18, 20, 22, I'm sorry, 2022 and 22 Summer Edition. So the next one would be, I guess they would call it the 2022, I think, or the 2023 would be the next one. They normally are slated to go in the fall for each one, but they bumped the 2022 one up this year because of the stems, and then they put out another thing after that. I'm going to go to the virtual site real quick here, and I want to see what they have listed right now, what the so they have, I think they still have both the 2021 64-bit is what you can get right now. I think if you look down further somewhere in there, you can get the 32-bit, but they're mainly pushing the 64-bit version of 2021, and it's the 2021 Summer Edition. So I said 2022 earlier. It was 2020, 2021, 2021 Summer Edition. So the next one would be 2022, and it should be slated to come out in the fall. I have no info on it, when it's coming or anything like that. But that would be the next one. For those of you who are still thinking 8, 9, there's no such thing anymore. Those are gone. So we're now onto these numbers and have been for several years. Okay, someone asked, how do stems work? Well, basically a stem is something that I've been using for years over in Ableton in audio production, and you would use it by a VST, which is kind of a plugin like you do with Virtual, and you could isolate more or less what it is isolating like the vocals, a certain musical instrument, the drums, etc. If you wanted to create an a cappella, or you wanted to do a mashup where you're taking music from one and vocals from the other, that's what it was for. But last year when Algorithm DJ came out with their ability to do stems, Virtual had that in the works already. They were getting ready to release it the following year, but since they released it and they already had it plugged into Virtual, and the fact that Virtual works with any VST, so if you have any Ableton type VSTs and you want to use them in Virtual, all you have to do is drag and drop and they work. So if you're using the 64-bit version, you have to have a 64-bit VST. So those are there, and basically what it does is that it highlights or isolates or removes. That's the word I'm looking for. Isolates or removes the vocals. Here we're gonna go to. All right, so I'm gonna throw. These are songs. These are YouTube friendly songs, so I can play these with. See if I can find one with vocals in it. Because I don't want to get busted here. Find something with lyrics. I keep forgetting which ones have the lyrics in them. I know that one doesn't have lyrics in it. Hold on here. All right. Not very good lyrics in that one. Give me more time here. All right, so that has lyrics in the background. And if I go into And where are my... do I not even have stems hooked up in here right now? Because this is a studio thing, and I've not done anything with the studio thing in a while. I don't have stems even plugged into this right now. That's weird that I don't have that plugged into this. That's funny. They're there, but where's my freaking shortcut on these? I don't. This is my studio computer, and I rarely use it for anything here. Oh, it's not letting me do that. So if I go in here, and I think if I go to stems in here, because this is a Pioneer thing, and it won't let you do Pioneer stuff. Pioneer is, I'm just warning you right now, Pioneer is a little bit more picky about what they let their devices do, and it will block stuff out. So if I unplug this right now, I would get stems back. So that's what I'm going to do. So if something clicks on this, it's not going to work because I'm running audio through there too. But basically what it does is it isolates the vocals, and I think I might have them in here. All right, so yeah, so on here, let's do the demo everything. Right now, these are set up to take out the vocals and the drums. So we get to this part here where the drums are coming in. It pulls different parts out. Vocals only. And like I said, it's not set up for this yet. The one I used to DJ out with is that way. But you can hear how it'll isolate things out. Just drums and vocals isolated. And that's basically what you're doing. You're creating things. So let's say I get to the end of a section here where I want to mix out, but I don't want to... it's not the end of the song. There's still... Let's say there's still vocal stuff and I want to do a mix out. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, I just hit the... Sorry about that. So now I've got an out, and I can pull that out and just have the drums. And that's what stems basically does, is it isolates or removes different parts of the track that you can then do stuff with that. All right, so moving on down here. Is Virtual DJ processor intensive? How much RAM should you have? Virtual DJ is one of the least processor-heavy DJ programs there is. But you also have to keep in mind, once you start throwing in stuff like HD video, stems and stuff like that, that's when it gets heavy. RAM, I would not use it with any less than like 4 or 8. I think their recommendation is like 2 or something. Their recommendation is really, really low. I'm going to see it on the site here if I can see it. But I don't know. I have 8 on a gaming computer, and it is unbelievably fast. I have 0 problems with it ever. So it all depends on your computer. Like I tell everybody, if this is your job, don't go out and buy a $500 computer. It's just you're not benefiting yourself by saving money. Spend the money. I always tell people, if you're going to use Mac, use Mac. If you're not going to use Mac, buy a Windows computer that costs about as much as the cheapest Mac you can buy. And your hardware is going to be ready for years to go, and everything will be great. Next one here is I have a Rain 12 MK2, my Denon SD5000 best test mixer. Does virtual integrate with my decks? I also have a Pioneer SX. Does virtual work flawlessly? Just to show you something here, virtual works with more pieces of hardware than any other. Where's the hardware thing? Works with more pieces of hardware than any other software out there. Left screen. And you can see it works with all these brands. And specifically, you asked me about the Rain 12. It does work with Rain 12, the MK2s. So if we looked in Rain... Actually, that does end up tying in with the Rain whatchamacallits. So there's the 12s, and I don't know if that's both 12s or just the 12 without the MK2. But if you go in there to underneath manual and hardware, it tells you all the different ones that it works with. The other one you said was the Vestex mixer. Vestex is out. I don't think anything works with that. That one's going to be a big no because I don't even know what could work with Vestex, to be honest with you. Apologize about that. But yeah, Vestex, I don't know what they work with now at all. So I can obviously see right here there's no Vestex integration in there. And the Pioneer SX2, so Pioneer DJ has a buttload of stuff here. Which was yours? The DDJ SX2 right there. So it works with that. So it answers that question. Go back here. How's the new update for Virtual DJ? Haven't updated yet. I keep like you can understand on my computers, on my DJ computer, I do the standard update constantly, and I've not had a problem with it. And the studio computer is running the early access update, and I just did a new early access update tonight that had some stuff, and I haven't really got a chance to look over what is on that early access. But like I said, I don't have any problems whatsoever with this stuff. You know, when people ask, "Oh, is it stable? Does it work?" Of course. It's tough for me to understand people asking that question because why wouldn't it? And if it doesn't work for you, it's not. I've had friends that go, "I can't get it to work." And we've sat down and went over it, and it had nothing to do with the software. It had nothing to do with their hardware. It had to do with them wanting something that it wasn't set up to do, but you could set it up to do it. They just didn't. Well, why doesn't it just do that? Because other people wanted to do this. Well, lots of people want to do this, otherwise they wouldn't put it in there. So the people who usually end up complaining are the ones that go, well, I use Serato, and why doesn't it work like Serato? It can. You have to set the settings, but it also works other ways because other people don't want it to work like Serato. So you have to think about that. So as in you're talking about stability and stuff, there's never a problem. I've never had a problem with that. All right, so we're going back into the chat. Those are the ones that were before the questions that were before the chat. Stems, are you going to have a show on native instruments? Possibly. I had a guy set up to do that, and some just fell through on people. He asked me if I'm going to have somebody on to talk about Tractor native instruments. I had somebody lined up for that, and Summer fell apart with getting anybody on the show because they were busy. I would like to have that, but honestly, the audience for Tractor would be so small. I don't know if it would be worth it, but I possibly will give it a shot. I'll keep that in mind. I definitely will. I said I was going to, but like I said, I just couldn't pull it together. I couldn't pull a Serato person in because summertime, everybody got gigs, and they were just taking everything that they could. Moving on down there, does Tidal or Spotify work in Virtual DJ? Keep in mind that Spotify is not on any, and I mean not on any DJ software. They will not let it on any DJ software whatsoever. Tidal is on here, and I will show you all the ones that Virtual has. And I can do the left deck zoomed. And I will move this here. All right, so these are all of the online music choices that you have. You can do the iDJ Pro. Like these top three are done through Virtual DJ. iDJ Pool, it's a streaming service. They have a lot of really great stuff. It's one of my favorite ones. This is for video from VJ Pro, and then the Digitrax Pro Karaoke. Deezer is exactly like Spotify. It actually has 1 million more songs than Spotify, but it has less subscribers than Spotify, and you can subscribe to it, and I subscribe to it and use it often. Down below that is SoundCloud, and I believe that works with the SoundCloud Go Plus account, Beat Port Link, Beat Source Link, and Tidal, and it also, because the new Google Drive works as a letter drive, I can look in here, and now I have my Google Drive, and I can access, drag and drop, just like anything else, songs that I have on my Google Drive to be played in here instantly. So those are all your options for streaming stuff on Virtual. Like I said, the iDJ Pool and the Deezer are the two that I subscribe to. The iDJ Pool, I like it because you get versions that are DJ friendly. So if we go up here to iDJ Pool and I just type in Drake, I have my keyboard way over here. All right, and you're going to see on these when it brings up clean, quick, explicit, quick mix. That's what you get. You get stuff titled like that. I'll move this down, and you can see I'm going to load one here. And again, I'm streaming and DJing and everything off the same computer here, so it might be a little slow loading, but it's just as fast. When I load them out somewhere, it loads just as fast as a song that I have on my hardware. So we're dropping that there. And right now, if I lost internet connection, that song would be playable. It's that fast. And the other one is Deezer. Do the same thing here for Drake. And this one here, what you're going to do is you're going to end up getting the album versions, the very, very plain album versions. And I drag and drop that one. Loads that quick. The difference between those two is the iDJ Pool gives you unlimited offline play. So I could offline as many of these as I wanted to and play not connected to the internet, but you would have to connect to the internet at least once a month to show the program that you still have a paid subscription to them, and then you would be able to keep playing them. Deezer, you absolutely 100% have to be online for all of the songs, period. So that's the difference between those two. All right, moving on here. Back to Logitech camera. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate I didn't get to say hello to Robin. Thank you so much for hanging out. And if you could, please hit the like button because that gets this in front of more people. And like I said, I'm hoping that this show really, the Virtual DJ Questionnaire Nights really do well when it comes to people watching both live and on demand. And I kind of want to make that continue to go further if I can and possibly get a sponsorship by them. Woohoo! If I can, and kind of see what's going on. Right now, with the way the business is, it's a different industry than it was 2 years ago, that's for sure. So it's kind of hard to say what's going to happen there. So how much is that service? The iDJ Pool it's whatever, $9.99 or $9.98, and then you have to pay a little tax. So let's just say $10 for the iDJ Pool and $10 for the Deezer. So I did a show. If you want to go back, like I said, everything that any question you could have, I've already done a video for it. Okay. And a while back, I did a thing on where do I get my music, and I talked about that. I go through BPM Supreme. I go through another one that's illegal called Static City Remix. I have a lifetime one for the Static City Remix, and I pay for the monthly of the BPM Supreme, which is $20, and then $10 for the iDJ Pool, $10 for the Deezer, and I'm never unable to get a song. People ask me for stupid stuff sometimes, and they're like, "How did you have that?" And I'm like, "Don't tell them that I didn't have it. I just tell them, that I can get it." I try not to tell people that I have this ability. Otherwise, they're going to be asking me for the dumbest things, and so I'm just trying to eliminate that out there. Sean, what's going on? He asked, why is it when virtual DJ with controller in studio, it worked both? When I get out to my gig, my controller will not work, but I can use virtual DJ in Automix. There's no reason that shouldn't work. If it's the same computer that's hooked up to the same controller, it should work everywhere, because that's pretty much all that. There's no reason why it shouldn't. If you're using a different computer, then that's a whole different idea. But if you have like this, if I hook this controller up to my DJ computer and it works here in the studio, it'll work everywhere. That's all there is to it. So, what are you asking a link for? You asking someone else for a link? Keep the questions coming. Tonight's all about virtual DJ again. I have a little SB3 out tonight, so we can do some mixing stuff if we need to. Or we can, this is basically tonight's about virtual DJ. So we're going to answer virtual DJ questions, inside, outside, whatever. So feel free to throw out the questions. I think I hit all the ones that were questioned before. Got all those answered, so I can delete that and get back into your questions from the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. I don't know where this show is going to go. I took a little bit of a break this summer from doing the live show and really enjoyed not being on camera that much. For those of you who do know me, you know how much I just love being around people. And I really enjoyed this summer a lot, just doing stuff my way, getting to go hiking, just chilling out. And I don't know where I'm going to go with this stuff in the future. I know I missed DJ Expo in the fall, and don't feel that I don't feel I missed anything. So for me, this whole industry is kind of changing right now. I'm very busy DJing. I'm DJing right now at both the casinos here in the city and other places, and it's keeping me busy, and I'm kind of good with that, and I'm moving on. I'm putting out a book this year. I just got it back from the editor yesterday, so I have to approve the changes, and then we start moving forward with the process of putting the book out. So it'll be finally, when I go through the changes or recommendations that he made and approve of them or whatever, then that becomes the final book. So it's that will be out by the end of this year. So you ask about the legalness of the thing. Now here's the difference. Places like Promo Only and all that kind of stuff, what they do is that they pay the record labels a royalty fee to have their songs on their website to then sell them to DJs like us. The other service, why I say is not illegal, they are based out of another country in the world, and they subscribe to all these other download services. They download a bunch of music from those services, all different kinds of services, and put it on their website, all of them, for you to pay them to download that music, and they don't pay any royalty fees. That's why it's illegal. You're going to say, why would I do that? That's illegal. It's a thing. But if I can't get the versions I want, it's a useless service for me, because I can't take the album versions where I DJ. No one wants to hear the album versions. So I have to have intros and remixes and re-drums and Mamba tone remixes and all kinds of stuff like that. And sometimes the only place I can get these is somewhere like that. And I also do get some from Club Killers. Club Killers. I get a lot of stuff from them too. So, and I do have a subscription. I have a what's that called? Credit subscription with them, to meaning that I buy credits and can use those towards downloading songs. And when I use all my credits up, I can buy more credits. So I use that one for grabbing stuff that I can't. Let me see here. Like Mike's talking about using Mac, you don't have to download drivers, but you do have to download sometimes the MIDI mapping, and it is different for Mac than it is for Windows. So there's stuff in both. Willie D says, just bought a subscription. It is like Serato in case where I can use multiple laptops with the controller. Does every laptop need an individual subscription? As far as I know, you have to have individual subscriptions. Again, I don't do the. Are you talking about the music service subscription? Is that what you're talking about? So clarify that, please, on me, that one there. I did not miss a Wheelie Wednesday. It's out there. I put it out there today. It's out there, and it was a good one. I really like that one. Question on any idea why this happens? Songs that I've downloaded from YouTube, although they work, they load and error out. I load them on the deck. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you download it and it is a MP3, an MP4, any kind of video, audio file, it should play, because Virtual plays everything. Check here. Audio. Scroll. That's not what I want here. I don't want that. Where's that at? Is it that? There it is. File forms. So, moving this around. Virtual DJ plays all of these. So, if I copy all of those and bring this over here. So, any of these file types, Virtual plays. So, as long as it's one of those, it's going to play it. So if it's not playing it, I'm guessing you didn't download it correctly, or there was an error in the download to where it didn't finish, or something like that. That's the only thing I can tell you. A lot of people ask me questions about Virtual that are ones that, again, don't necessarily have to do anything with Virtual. It is I always say it's the person's. I don't mean to cut down on people, but there's a lot of times when people ask me stuff, it is so far from hardware or software related problems. I had somebody one time talking to me going, I can't hear the music. I'm sorry. How did he say that? I can't hear my mic come out of the main speaker. Why doesn't it come out of the main speaker? Is it able to do? Why isn't my controller? I'm talking to the mic. It's not coming out of the controller. And I'm like, you're turning it up and down, everything, nothing. And I'm like, well, where is your XLR plugged into? And he went on the back. He says it's plugged into the booth. And I presume that everybody knows that mics, unless you do what's called what is that called? A post. It's a post. It's called posting the mic. A mic will not come through a booth out unless you post that to then hear it. It's intended to be where it goes out the main and doesn't come in, because you're going to have that thing pointing at you, the booth. And there were simple questions like that was not he's thinking it's a software issue, and it was just where he plugged it in and the way hardware is intended to work. So here, again, whatever you downloaded, there's a good chance that the file's corrupt. That's all I can tell you, because if it's any of those things, it'll play. So there has to be something in that that your file is corrupt or you're not using a full version of virtual. You know, if you have because there's a lot of people that have problems with virtual that buy the illegal, get a key off a friend or buy it off the internet, from somebody, and it's not a true version. It's a cracked version of virtual. You're gonna have lots of problems with that. So always buy virtual. Jay, do you rather FLAC files or MP3? I'm good with anything. Like if I look through what I have probably everything in there. MPEGs, Windows media files, Windows video files, waves. It doesn't matter to me. I just throw it in there. I don't even care. It all works. Did you move the song after you... Is it erroring out that it's showing error? Is it a yellow tag? Gosh, where can I show you what that looks like here? Is it my library? Whoops, I don't want to do that. Database, audio. All right, does it... Again, I'm going to have to change screens here. Crap, I hate changing screens. Interface. Default. Does your file... I guess I wasn't up on the video. Sorry about that. I wasn't up there the whole time. But does it have either a red mark or a yellow mark in it? So if I go back to my standard one that I always use, that then becomes a yellow mark. Is it showing you that, or is it showing you something else when you try to play that song? Because someone there said, did you move the song after you did it? So if you put the song in a file and then open up virtual and it finds the song, and then you move the song outside of the program, it will error out like this. So if you ever move anything, let's say I go into a file here and I go into music here, and so let's say I wanted to move this to a different folder. I should not go into the folder and move this. I should go here, I'm not sharing this one, dang it. Sharing the wrong things and not sharing the wrong things. So if I wanted to move this, instead of moving it outside in a folder, I move it from within here, and I go into File Operations, and then Move To, and then I move it to the folder I want, and then that way Virtual DJ tracks it and never loses it. So, all right, back to questions here. Somebody asked, what program did you use? That could be maybe again there. Again, I'm telling you, I have crap stuff on here that I ripped off of LimeWire and stuff in the 90s that's still in here and it's still playable. I have everything. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, John. If it plays in any other media player, it should play in virtual unless you have a hacked version, something like that. Yeah, you moved it. Then you have to find it. So I'll show you guys how to find them. We're going to go back here, and we're going to go up into this here. All right, so here's... Let me find one there that has a yellow marking on it. Try to find one with a yellow marking here. Let's go... No, I don't want to do that. Missing. So these with the yellow markings or red markings on yours means they're missing. So you would right-click on it, relocate missing file. And what that's going to do is it's going to throw up a search box, and what it will do, as soon as I can get this thing to open up, it'll probably error out because I have so much stuff running right now. It is going to error out. Dang it. No, there it goes. So what it's going to do is when it opens up this folder, it's going to open up to where it should have been. So this song should have been here, and I can look here to see if it's still here, and right there that is. And I can either double click to access it, or I can actually go to another folder and do a search and find it. And let's say I find it, like that one right there, I find it, double click, and now it's not a missing song. So that's how you relocate where it's at within. But if you move it outside, if you move it from within, you don't have to worry about that. So I hope that made sense. That was a little bit there. What skin do you use? What skin do you all like for Rain 1, default or old school? I use this Denon controller HD by Denyo. It's one of the ones you can download through the virtual site. I like it because it gives me more room here to see what's going on, because I don't need all this crap up here. I'm even thinking about going into using the something like this to where, because I don't need all that stuff. If I just have the different things on there, I can do that. I don't need all that stuff. So, but that's what I use. This is the stock skin. Show you what the stock skin looks like. That's a default. That's a default Pro edition. But again, it takes away a lot more song space. I just want the song space. So that's why I choose that. Does Deezer cover all genres? Deezer has everything that Spotify has and then some. So if it's on Spotify, it's on Deezer. Like literally anything. When I switch back and forth between DDJ SRT and the SR2, I've noticed that I have a lot of songs that Q doesn't automatically turn on for that channel like it does with the SR2. Not sure what you mean by that, DJ Data. Explain like what's not turning on, the Q light or the Q itself is not turning on. Spin asks, MJ, I know this is a technical and you have covered this as much as I don't use it on the basic skin. Has a turntable where you have a logo. Where do you change that image file? In your folder system. I did a video on this a while back. You can go look it up. But if you go into your folder system under... Give me a second here. I want to find this. Mine, I believe, is under Documents, Virtual DJ, Skins. And then you would find your skins in here. And you're going to look for a BPM. Some of them are BPM. Some of them are... different. It's a picture file of some sort, and you would open this up in an editor, and this is what it looks like in some of the editors. Zoom in there so you can see it. That's what this file, and you would edit like you would put your logo in the center of those circles depending on which one you're doing. But the one that I use, the Denyo, the guy does give you a spot here. Is it this one? No, it's here. There you go. But he gives you a spot down in the bottom corner here. I'm blocking here. Hold on. Hold on here. I'm moving stuff around. He gives you a spot there to put it in. So some of them give you a spot to put it in. Others, you have to find the spot to put it in. And you basically put that in some sort of picture editor, edit it, and stick it back in the zip file. Some of them are zipped. So if I go back here in the skins, some are zipped, some are open, and that's all you have to do. And there is a video, so if you go to Disc Jockey News' YouTube page and search on skins, I think I have 2 videos out there on that. How do you the Automix in case you have to go to the restroom? I would tell you to make mixes before you use the Automix, but Automix is simply you just press the mix button, throw songs in there. So we're going to go left screen, and if we go over here to the Automix buttons that are down at the bottom, so we have the different things here, the side list and the Automix, which are 2 different things. They kind of work the same, but they don't. You can't necessarily Automix from side list, but you can Automix from Automix. So I have these songs here. So this song, let's say this one here is playing, all right, and I want to make that Automix. I highlight a song here that's in this list, and I press this button right here, and it throws it up in there. And you can also do the Automix to go right deck, left deck, or you can overlay them there like that. And that's pretty much all, and it will pick its own way to load. Hope that made sense. I know I'm babbling here. You guys have some great questions here. Instant doubles on virtual. It all depends on, in Serato, it is Alt right and Alt left button to throw the instant doubles. You have to set that up in your keyboard settings. So if I'm looking in here, and I'm looking the mapping, and mapping for keyboard, and I think it is it Alt left? Right there it is, clone deck. So it's Control Shift. I'm sorry, Control Shift. So if I had something over here on this deck, so I'm going to empty that one, and this one over here is playing, and I want that to match up on the other side. What was it again? Hold up, I can't play that song, otherwise I'll get busted. I need to go back to my YouTube songs. me try this here. All right, so playing that one. And that was, again, it was Alt. I always forget what that is because I do it from within. Was it Alt Shift? Oh, I'm so sorry that I forget these things because I don't use these a lot. We'll try Alt Shift. No. All right, I'm gonna look here. Where is the clone? Someone, if you remember what I said in the chat, tell me so I can find this faster. It's called clone. Serato calls it instant doubles. Virtual calls it clone deck. Why can I never remember what that is? I just looked at it too. Waiting to see if someone in the chat remembers what I said. Yeah, Alt Shift. All right, so that would be Alt Shift. And maybe I have to have that turned off. Because I don't do it that way. I go right here into this part and then do the clone button. So I can have them there. And what it's going to do is it's going to put it in there in the clone to the same way. The other deck, and then I can just see the volumes here. And stop this one, and you got it playing on the other deck if you needed to do something. Again, that's the way it's supposed to be mapped on mine, is the Alt Shift. Pardon me. I don't know why it wasn't doing it there. But you can map that to be whatever you want it to be, actually, for the keyboards. That's why, because I was looking at the wrong thing. There's the keyboards. So there's the Alt Shift. Alt S. Wasn't Alt Shift, was it? Anyways, that's how it is. I forget what it is on the other one. I know I'm hanging on way too long for this, but that's the clone deck right there. It's Control Shift. That's what it was. So if I were to do that Control Shift, there. That's what it was. I was doing the wrong thing. Same thing. So if it's playing over here, and I want to add it to the other deck, Control Shift, and it's playing on, it matches up. I always forget that. I'm sorry. I'm babbling here. All right, so moving on up here. Instant doubles. How do you do karaoke and virtual? That's a whole show right there. How do you do karaoke and virtual? That's a whole show. Can't do much there because I don't do it very often, so I'm not an expert on it. But you basically, it's the same thing. You bring your karaoke tracks over into this area right here, and that you load them, and it gives you information on that. But again, a lot of this is done on these side lists with your samplers and different things like that. Moving on down here. So the channel not playing a song when I load a song into the deck, the Q button automatically turns on. With the SRT, I have to manually hit the Q. Again, defining Q button, you're talking about the hot Q buttons down here. These aren't lighting up, or this isn't working, because it all depends, again, how you have each one programmed, because you can have this button work in totally different ways on different controllers. I have mine all set up to where it's a stutter, but if I hold it for more than 3 seconds, it's a play. And the Q will take it all the way back to where I started it from. And a pause would pause it right where it's at. So again, you can have that mapping differently on each controller, and I'm guessing that's all that is that the mapping part of it is different per controller. Somehow, in the person whoever did the mapping, when you downloaded it, they have it set up differently, but you can go in and change whatever you want there. Yeah. So, when recording mixtapes in FLAC file, why does it sound higher in quality when playing Windows Media Player? Does it have a FLAC setting things to change. I'm not sure about the recording settings. I just do the MP3 recordings. So if I do here, and I'll share the left deck on this left screen, move me back down here. So I always just do the MP3 default format. I don't mess around with a lot of stuff, but you can do some of those. I don't think there's anything in there to tune. If there is, it would be in here, and it would be under, I think, recording. Recording quality, you can do that too. So maybe your recording qualities aren't high on that. There's little things like that in there that you can do on stuff like that. But those are about your only optional settings for that. Like I said, I just do MP3. 99% of people aren't going to notice. So if it's not up to what you want it to be, I would tell you just to then maybe run it through an Ableton type program and up it a little bit if you have to. I don't think, like I said, aside from that, I don't think there are any recording adjustments in there. But again, I just record, so I've not played around with that. There could be. On any of these questions that I don't have, I will advise you, go to the virtual DJ, whatever that's called. I'm blanking on everything. You guys are hammering my head with questions, and I love it. If you go to the community here on the virtual DJ on the left screen, you go to virtual DJ and under community forums, you can get pretty much anything you want answered here. Somebody will have it, and in multiple languages. So if you speak a different language, there's people all over the world that can help with this. So if I can't answer something, this would be where you would go and ask about FLAC recording quality questions, and someone out there does that, I'm sure, that can answer you yes there is or no there isn't. So that's always a good place to start with there. I can close this down too and go back to here. We're getting close to the top of the hour. We're trying to answer the questions here. Alt Shift, left, yeah, a clone deck is what it's called on virtual. Instant doubles is what it's called on Serato. It just depends on what the name is for that. He was asking about what's it called. The headphone cue button. Okay, so the headphone cue is a whole different thing. It's called the PFL, pre-fader listen, and that again can also be set up. You might have it set up to where you're doing split cue on a non-split cue controller, and that's its whole thing on setting up there, which I'm recently doing that with the SRT, where I'm trying to do it differently than it's intended to. I'm trying to do a split cue on something that doesn't have split cue, and you can do that through virtual. So if it's headphone things, then you need to go into that. Where's my left screen? Boom. You need to go in here and go into there and search for PFL, and you can do headphones, different things setting up there for queuing. There's also settings for queuing. I think PFL's for that. And you can do different things in there when it comes to automation, skins, controllers. Again, the PFL is the one that's for headphone queuing, pre-fader listen. And this gives you a few things in there. And you can do PFL select, which that auto selects. Like if you load a song onto the right deck, it will automatically turn on the cue for the right deck. Split headphones, again, is something that I'm working on there. Equalizing the headphones. Sampling auto decks, and split cue for the sandbox mode, which is this whole thing, including this player down here. That's all part of this headphone queuing thing. So there's a lot of settings in there, and that's where I'm probably thinking that the settings are coming from. And also, if you're in your audio settings, do you have an audio channel set up right here? Let me go virtual DJ zoomed. Do you have it set up there, and where's it coming to? So right now I have the audio master coming out of the DD-SP3, and I could actually change that to come out of the computer sound, since I'm plugged into the computer, and have the sound come out of the computer, but yet still use the headphones coming out of the SP3. So again, with virtual, you can set this up to do 101 things. So those are some things you might want to try. This skin is HD Controller HD by Denyo. You can download it on the virtual site. Yeah, again, he was saying about asking adding his logos to it. There's a video I did out there, and again, there's also other people out there who have done videos on this stuff, not just me. There's a lot. We have went a whole hour. You guys have hit me with some awesome questions. If you like this, again, please click like so that it goes into other people's things and we can expand the viewing of this. I definitely want to keep doing more of these. This is by far my best shows on music and mixing, the ones I do on Virtual DJ. I guess I just have a good audience with you guys, and I appreciate everybody who tunes in, and I hope that I'm able to answer the questions that you want. I know I don't know everything. I do dive into this because I really, over the years, have really fallen for virtual and all that it can do, because I shouldn't have to match the software. The software should match me. I shouldn't have to adjust myself to it. It should adjust itself to the way I want things to be done. And virtual continues to let me do that amazingly over and over and over again. So if you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up offline through all the social medias. I'm on all of them. Otherwise, save your questions for next month. It's not going to be as far since I took the end of the month to do this month's, so it'll only probably be a couple weeks before I do the next Virtual DJ one. Bring your questions there. Anything like that. If you want a special night maybe on certain specific things in virtual, maybe I can focus on that, but let me know. I think there's still more coming up tonight after the show on youtube.com/discjockeynews. There's other shows that on all kinds of other stuff, and I think there is one coming up tonight right after this, so make sure you tune into that. Again, thank you guys so much for everything, for tuning in, for making this show great, and letting me get to be a part of your lives all over the world. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves, and more importantly, take care of each other, because it is a crazy world out there, and we don't know what's coming next, so we have to be there for each other. Take care. God bless. Good night.